taught you? Who taught you how to shake a hand with warmth and authenticity? Who helped you figure out what you can say at a Shiva house, at a house of mourning, just the right words of comfort and care? Who helped you figure out how you could disagree vehemently, but respectfully, even in the midst of a heated argument? Can you remember the people who taught you those important skills? In today's world, as we move to increasing relationships through technology, have these social skills and the teaching of social skills become obsolete? Our Jewish tradition says no. Social skills and social intelligence are not only timeless, but they're foundational to who we are as individuals and as a people. Social skills, social emotional learning, character education, social intelligence, these are all topics that you will hear talked about in modern psychological and educational circles. Social skills refer to a wide array of human behavior, from the most basic skills, like what I'm doing now, making eye contact when I talk to someone, to the most complex human interactions, like being able to navigate conflict or being able to compete fiercely but fairly. Social skills are not new. Our Jewish sages recognized long before psychologists and educators wondered and worried how to promote them. Our Jewish sages understood that social skills are critical for a life well lived. In the Talmud, there's the famous story of our immense sages, Hillel and Shammai, confronted by a potential convert who demands that he be taught the entire Torah while he stands on one foot. Shammai refuses, dismisses this seemingly incredible request, perhaps thinking that it was foolish or disrespectful. But Hillel responds. Hillel says, "Treat others as you would be treated. That is the Torah entire. All else is commentary. Now go and learn it." In these incredibly wise words of Hillel, that last segment, "Now go and learn it," what does it refer to? We could look at the commentaries to understand, does Hillel tell us that we need to focus on learning the Torah, on doing unto others? But in fact, in Jewish life and in Jewish thought, the wisdom tells us that it almost doesn't matter, because the interpersonal and the spiritual are totally intertwined. We are charged to be as meticulous, as careful in the realm of between man and God, ben Adam lamakom, as we are meticulous and careful in the realm of man to man, in our actions and our behaviors that exist right here on earth between man and his fellow, ben Adam l'chavero. In the collection, the Pirkei Avot, the Ethics of the Fathers, we have a gift of incredible wisdom about many aspects of life and a great deal of wisdom about our social interactions. But perhaps no precept in the Pirkei Avot is as important as the injunction, the caution, that we should refrain from judging another until we walk in their shoes. This notion of empathy reminds us that it is the critical social skill that is the root from which all others grow. The ability to feel another's pain, to see the world through another's eyes, this is what propels us forward to help in times of trouble or tragedy. It's what perhaps led Jews to the forefront of the civil rights movement. It's what helps us in our everyday lives understand the people we care about and even the strangers that we meet, to see what they need and to know how we can provide it for them. We are very good at focusing on empathy when kids are small. But once their heads get firmly ensconced in books, empathy and other social skills take a bit of a back seat. Walk into any kindergarten or nursery school classroom. I encourage you to do it the next chance you have. you'll witness wondrous lessons in empathy. You'll see children learn to use their words, share their toys, to figure out why Curious George is so upset, or how they know that Cat in the Hat is happy and is up to some mischief. Walk into a first grade classroom and it looks quite different. You'll see children at tables or in rows, focusing and mastering on very important but very academic content areas and skills. Fast forward to high school, middle school, and you'll see students spend 45 minutes, each 45-minute segment facilitated by probably a different adult, each one of those adults charged with helping children master, learn content areas such as math and science and Bible and Hebrew. But this may be at exactly the time that we should be focusing on who knows this child and who does this child know. Not who will teach this student math or science or Bible, but who will teach this child how to be a mensch, how to be a person in today's complex world. But it's not just about schools. Last year, I visited Jewish day schools across the country, and I asked students to share with me their views about their social behavior and social beliefs. Part of the questions asked about parents. What did their parents believe? Do my parents think it's okay to leave someone out of a game on purpose because they're not my friend? Do my parents think that if I see one classmate tease another, that I should ignore it and remain uninvolved? Time after time, students raised their hands and told me they couldn't answer the questions. They couldn't tell me how their parents felt about social behavior because they didn't know how their parents felt about social behavior. These same students could tell me where their parents stood on the current president, which synagogue they preferred to attend in their community, even what restaurants they found acceptable. But they didn't know what their parents thought about what it takes to be a good friend or a caring member of a group. Now, I'm a mother myself and an educator, and I know how much easier it is to focus on academics than on social issues. My husband and I did plenty of homework nights. We checked and drilled and flashcarded, wanting our children to know that we valued lifelong learning. We were never without a book in hand, and we did our adult homework right in front of them. But are we, as parents, equally conscientious about sharing with our children our social accomplishments? Or do we think that they'll figure out, they'll learn somehow by osmosis that we're caring people and that we want them to be caring people too? Do we greet them as often when they come off the bus or back into our homes after school? Do we ask as frequently, who did you invite to sit with you at lunch? As we do, when is your next book report due? Did you remember to take the book out of the library? And if we as parents, in front of our children, on Fridays or Thursdays, bemoan the upcoming weekend's social obligations, talk about how it's cutting into our me time to have to go to this one's dinner party, that one's bar mitzvah, this one's wedding, then how will our children ever learn the unmitigated simcha, the true joy that comes from dancing together as part of a community? Today's children cannot turn to the world around them to learn empathy and social wisdom. They're growing up in a world of bad examples and absent manners. So we need to ramp up our efforts. If we want to create the next generation of responsible, socially responsible, and socially responsive Jewish citizens of the world, then we need to do three things. First, we need to value it. We need to give empathy and social skills an honored, invited place at our dinner table discussions and a prominent role in our school curricula. We need to label it when we see it. We need to congratulate it when it happens. We need to tell our children, I saw you share with that friend. That was lovely. I like that. Or it was so nice what you said to Grandma. I'm sure that made her feel better. You make me proud when you do that. but valuing it won't be enough. We also need to live it. We need to be walking, breathing social exemplars of empathy and of caring. Parents' discussions about social do's and don'ts will be ignored, or worse, they'll be rejected as hypocrisy. If parents say in one moment, be a good friend, and in the next are overheard maligning their neighbors or fellow congregants or members of the local school administration. We need to remember that our children are watching us, always. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, we need to teach it. We need to directly teach social skills and empathy. We need to say, this is how you shake a hand. No, that was kind of weak. Can you do it again? Firmer, and make eye contact this time. We need to ask, how will you apologize to that friend whose feelings you hurt? Let's practice it together. Or, we're going to help after the hurricane. What do you think we can say to make people feel better? I'm asked by schools all the time, Jewish and public, can you come for a 45-minute assembly? Can you speak 20 minutes at our faculty meeting? We don't teach reading or math or science or Bible in assemblies or 45-minute periods. We can't afford to give social skills, social intelligence, and empathy any less rigor or attention than any other subject we teach that matters. And that means we need to teach it and reteach it, correcting and adjusting and quelling with pride, being so excited at our children's accomplishments. So I ask you, what are you modeling? How will you take Hillel's ancient words and gift them to today's children? Our children are watching. They're ready to learn. What will you teach?